Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Today, episode 2, season 1 of the Halo series is out. So, I've been able to take screenshots from it, so let's go over those. So, before we do, would you consider hit that like button, comment down below, consider subscribing to the channel, tell a buddy or two. Almost at the 200 sub. So, see if we could get that, by the end of the year. So, without ado, let's get into it. So it starts off in UNSC Spartan Training Center 22 years ago. As a matter of fact, John is waking up while others in the training center are asleep. So in the next image, we have our introduction to Soren. Kind of the whole reason there's that Soren protocol. It's just when a Spartan goes rogue, as we saw in the last episode. Anyway, moving along. This is back in the present day on Reach, the day after Chief and Han, escaped from Reach after the events of the last episode. I gotta say, they did a good job on, I guess they definitely nailed Lord Hood's look, so they got that right. Almost direct, comparison to the games, but not. Anyway, so he kind of asks Halsey, how did Chief escape? And Halsey believes it has something to do with the artifact, and she kind of told him that her and Paragoski are working on something to kind of get him back, and how to, control him. And a matter of speaking, which we kind of already know what, we could kind of already guess what it is. Anyway, moving on. So, this is where Chief and Ha go. They are going to this place called the Rubble, which is some kind of, in the middle of an asteroid field, some kind of city. So, and this is where we run into Soren in the present day. So obviously he's done his Spartan armor, just without his helmet or anything like that. And as you can see, he kind of lost his arm during the procedures that Spartans undergo, to get their augmentations and all that. Anyway, moving on. Next image, the Chief and Ha go with him, seemingly going to his home as they're traveling through the place, on some kind of transportation. So nothing really to see here. Anyway, moving on to the next scene. So it is revealed that Soren has a family, a wife, and a son. Now, if you remember, back in the main canon, it is revealed that Spartans naturally can't reproduce. So, because of the treatments they undergo before becoming a Spartan. So it's obviously at this point we don't know if he, if it's adopted or it actually breaks another tradition where Spartans can reproduce or whatnot. Anyway, moving on. So back on High Charity, the Prophets and Maquis interview the elite who escaped Madrigal after witnessing the Chief touching the artifact and retrieving it. And I gotta say, they definitely nailed the look for the elites, so I think it looks fantastic here. So, yeah, it looks really great. So it seems that so I wonder if this elite in particular will be in a big role going forward, or is it just, I guess could be a recurring character, but, hey, we'll see as the show goes on. Anyway, moving on. Next up, back at Reach, Halsey, Paragoski, and the rest of Oni/UNSC have a meeting to decide on what to do with the situation with Chief, going rogue and all that because of Ha. And Dr. Halsey proposes the Cortana Project, a advanced AI through flash cloning. I mean, they bring up how flash cloning is, I guess, quote unquote illegal, but they don't know that Halsey is doing it anyway, and she can manage to convince them to give her the green light under supervision from Paragoski. So now with that out of the way, let's go to the next one. So back on Madrigal, it seems this guy, remember him from the last episode, he was actually in to commence peace treaty with the UNSC. So it seems like he's taken over leadership after the battle with the elites and the rebels essentially being all taken out except for Ha in episode 1. So it seems he's taken over leadership as he's seen killing some people, I guess. Maybe leftovers, I guess, maybe. But anyway, moving on. So back at the Rebel, Chief and Soren are talking, and it's revealed that Soren actually reproduced, and that's how we have his son. So, and it seems that, it seems that the treatments that Spartans undergo are not as final as we once thought. Hence the reason why Soren has a son. I find that very interesting, so that's definitely a big change from the extended lore in the main canon, but this show's not canon, so it's its own thing, called, Silver Timeline for a reason. So that is very interesting and a big revelation, in my opinion, because that's a huge change. Anyway, moving on. So after they have their talk, Soren asks Chief what the artifact is. Chief is like, I don't know. So they went to go talk to someone who has experience with the Covenant, who actually was in the Covenant Phantom at one point. So this guy was kind of like out of his mind or whatnot, but he knows, things about the Covenant. So he wanted to touch the artifact, but he tried to snatch it from Chief, but Chief snatched it back, and Chief touching it activated the artifact once again, and he gets another vision. So it seems that it is related to the ring, and that's why the prophets are after it. And Maquis originally volunteered, but they said no. So in this scene, so it's activated again. So Chief is like, then the dude is like, "What are you? Like, do you even know what you are?" And Chief is like, "I have no idea." Because seemingly because Soren tried to touch it in a previous scene, he couldn't do it. It didn't activate for him, but for Chief, and the dude who Chief was talking to, he couldn't activate it either by touching it. So while Chief did, so it seems Chief is the only one who can activate it for some reason. Maybe that has something. Maybe that will be revealed in future episodes. We'll see. Anyway, moving on. So Chief realizes after that situation where he has to go back to the UNSC. So Soren questions, like, he was saying, like, you think that she cares about you, obviously referencing to Dr. Halsey. And, Chief questions him about loyalty, and Soren is like, you gave me 5 minutes, you gave me more loyalty than the UNSC ever did. Gave him a chance. But Chief, still headstrong as he is, he decides just to go through with it and leaves to go back to the UNSC. But as you can see here, he's heading back to his condor with the artifact to head back home to reach. But if you notice, Ha is staying behind. Chief ordered Soren to protect her because if she went back with them, they'd kill her on sight, basically, because of Article 72. So she's staying behind with Soren and the rest of them. So as a measure by Chief to stay safe, which was probably the right thing to do. And he activates his beacon, and Silver Team, comes to retrieve him, and they head back to Reach. And once they land, Chief is placed under arrest for going rogue. But he's surrounded peacefully, and Dr. Halsey and her team managed to get the artifact to be used for study. And so, after Dr. Halsey gives a quick glance at the artifact, she goes to talk to John. And obviously he's not in his armor anymore since he's under arrest. So she kind of questions him, like, what did he see in those visions? Why did he help her? And Chief is like, I don't know, but I keep seeing these images over and over in my head. And he described like he kind of felt something. Like something that, like, he senses something. He doesn't know how to explain it, and Dr. Halsey kind of mentions that this is probably the start of a new beginning. And we could probably already guess what it is. She opens the pod containing her flash clone, and that is the end of the episode. As we're probably going to meet Cortana for the first time in the next episode. So what do I think of the episode? I think it was more of a filler. That it was obviously definitely more story related than episode 1 was, because that was the one had a huge had a big story with action and all that. That wasn't really action here, as it was more story oriented, and I like that. It kind of gave more clarity to the events of the first episode. So it was definitely needed, I would say. So what would I give this episode? I'd probably give it a 7.5. It definitely gave some clarity so it's on the same range as the first episode was. Because I remember people saying, "Oh, the second episode is terrible." It's is this even Halo? I remember a notable reviewer saying, "I'm like, yeah, it still is. It just didn't have the action, So yeah, I give it a 7.5. So I'm definitely intrigued by where the story is going. it also seems at some point, because back in the scene where Chief was talking to Halsey, they actually showed Maquis, and so maybe it's just to me that at some point her and Chief will meet. So some kind of confrontation. When though? Who knows? So it seems that we're gonna reach that point, whenever that is. So who knows how that will turn out? But anyway, that's kind of it for this video. So have you seen episode 2? And so what did you think of it? Let me know down in the comment section below. And so this is Halo Gaming. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you choose to, and I'll see you all in the next video. Till then, see y'all later.